That was the most perfect touch. Hello, everyone. You okay? All good? Just caught me at a very bad moment then. I admit that as we go. But yeah, we are here today, LFC Transfer Room. Welcome back, everyone. Thank you for joining us on the new time at 7 p.m. There's not a lot going on today, apart from just Arne Slot giving his first press conference. All good, all excited to see it. We've got plenty to discuss with regards to that. Everyone's a bit, because the Germany-Spain game's getting very, very good, so everyone's a little bit carried away. But we've got plenty to discuss. I'm joined by Jonathan and Hassan. Make sure to go click like and subscribe. If you're watching it over on Twitter, you've got to head over to YouTube if you want to get involved with the comments and to do the like and subscribe thing. But spread the video around, pass it around, share it, repost, give it to everyone, because we are going to be discussing on Slot. Of course, it's his not debut to the media, because he did have the interview a few weeks ago, but this is his first step into the press conference environment at Liverpool, where naturally I think a lot of the conversation, a lot of the questions was centered around how does he want to play, who is he, just getting to know him a little bit. And of course there was the comparisons to Klopp, there was transfer news, Richard Hughes was with him as well, which was very exciting. I wasn't expecting to see that, but we've got plenty to discuss. So I mean, Jonathan, first off, how are you doing, and what did you make of the press conference?
I'm good. Thanks for asking. I think it's exciting to see Hughes at the press conference as well. It shows that they might have started making a strong bond between them. But all in all, very happy. A little bit disappointed in the transfer talk, as you said. Quiet in July, might be a hectic August, which might make new players take longer time to settle. But he answers well, and I'm excited to the Prem starts now.
Yeah, I mean, it was a very, as I said before, I think a lot of the press conference we always knew was going to be based on Slot, because, not Slot, sorry, Klopp, because obviously Klopp's he's been with us for 9 years. A lot of the talk was always going to be about, how do you follow up from him? So we're just going to sort of break it down and dissect it bit by bit. So, start off, Hassan, the first question someone asks in, what we sort of expect the kind of fashion. Klopp came in, described himself as a normal one. How would you describe yourself? And Slot gave a very articulate answer, I think is the right word to say it. What did you make of his response to that?
Yeah, we are used to now for 9 years seeing Klopp conferences. He was really charismatic and he was really witty. Uh, I felt that Slot is a bit more measured with his answers, uh, a bit more think about what he is going to say. Like he was about to announce two new backroom staff, and then he asked the media officer, and they said to not to announce now. So if it was Klopp, I think he would have announced it. Yeah. But I think it was good to see Richard also, and they were talking amongst each other. They have now creating bond with each other. They are understanding each other, and they said they are talking to each other every day, and Michael Edwards as well. So I think because of Euro and Copa America and Olympics, I think the transfers have a bit implications on this. I think it was a good start. Hopefully, the players come back and we go on.
Yeah, well, it really is interesting. He spoke very highly of the players. I think that, like you said, there's a lot to break down with regards to it. There was someone asked Richard Hughes about the contract, which I think was quite early on as well. Said, are you concerned with the contract situation? Are you worried? There are players running down the contract. And I like the answer he gave. I like that it wasn't, no, we're not worried. He was very, look, as long as everyone's committed, we're fine for next season. That's all that matters. And it does feel like they are very forward thinking at the moment. Richard Hughes in particular, I was very impressed with by the way he spoke. I feel like for someone in his job, a lot of them aren't. It might sound a bit daft. They can often say the wrong thing to the media because all their questions are so like they can't say a lot. They're confidential. I think he came across really well. I mean, Jonathan, what did you make of Richard Hughes's? I suppose personality is the right word to use, but what did you just make of how well he handled the media as a whole?
Surprised because it's not every day you see a sporting director handle those questions really well. He seems calm, he seems collected, and very happy with the answer he gave. He's with contact with Edwards. They are including Arne in the transfer talk. Very calm and collected, and didn't give too much about the contract situation. But again, was like they're not worried about any unhappiness by the players.
Yeah, which is something that we're concerned with Mo Salah. I mean, did it fill you with a bit more confidence that maybe not that deals can be necessarily struck for contract extensions, but did it make you feel more confident in the fact that those players will be there next season, the likes of Van Dijk and Salah and Trent?
Yeah, I got what's the right word? I got more calm about the whole situation. We know the players are committed for the next season, and we just have to take it from there, I guess. The time will come when Mo and Berg will leave the club, but we are certain we have them at least for one more season.
Yeah. Well, there's a comment here saying LFC don't have a single senior keeper trainer at Anfield. I think we just got someone, or he said that he brought in a goalkeeping coach, and there's also 2 more backroom staff members to come in. He couldn't say too much. He almost got pulled on that while he was going, so there was a lot going on. And I mean, a lot of the comments do seem to be about, I hate how many Klopp-related questions there were. The amount of Klopp questions was annoying. I agree. I do completely agree. I think it's unfair of Slot to be coming in. And I do get it. I understand that he's, of course, going to be linked to Klopp because we've heard about his play style and everyone says similar to Klopp. We've just lost one of the best managers in our history. And it's like when David Moyes went in from Sir Alex Ferguson in a different way, but the same but different, where people ask the question, how can you follow up from him? How can you follow in the footsteps of one of the greatest managers ever? Wenger, we saw it. Whoever comes in after Pep Guardiola is going to have the exact same questions. I think, and Hassan, I want to get your thoughts on this. Like, is it so much like what's been said, seems like the media can't move on from Kloppo, or is it just a case of people want to know, does Slot have a plan for doing it, or is he just sort of not winging it as such, but it's something that is on his mind? I mean, did the questions annoy you, and did you think he handled those Klopp-related questions well when they were getting fielded to him?
Yeah, he handled it really well. I think the amount of questions which were asked, any person can get a bit annoyed, but he handled it very well. He gave proper respects to his predecessor, uh, and I think this is how media works. They will uh, show him that he. Feel him that he's replacing him, and if things are not going well, they will make up stories that he's not good, like you said, whatever happened to Moyes, he's not such a bad manager, but the pressure was too much to handle. So I think as he answered, he looks calm and really focused, and I liked his focus about his own style, uh, that he don't want to emulate, and he don't want to be the next Jurgen. He wants to be his own man, his own style, and he emphasized his that point enough for me.
And he's well within his right to do it. Like he's not
Seemed really
Klopp.
confident.
Yeah, he did. He absolutely did. And that, to be honest, as fearful as I think we all were, and Jonathan, you can take this one because you've made a good point there. As nervous as we all were with Klopp leaving, that we didn't know what the future held. I mean, the more I'm hearing from Slot, the more not that I'm not bothered, because obviously we're all devastated he left, but I'm not nervous. I'm more excited than anything now. I mean, is that the same feeling for you?
Especially after you answered the question, how it would take on the challenge, filling Klopp's shoes, and he answered you can look at it two ways: for fill his shoes or have a winning mentality squad. He seemed really positive about not losing so many players as he did in Feyenoord. He seems really confident that he will come in and build a team to win titles with. And if he shows this confidence throughout the season and in the future, I think that will be the end result.
Yeah, definitely. And he was I'm trying to think of the way, like, he really makes a good point. He says that Slot was quite open and fair in his way of answering questions, whereas, Klopp kept his cards a bit on his chest. I agree with the first one. The Klopp keeping his cards close to his chest, I do think he had a tendency to sort of blow up and say more than he was allowed. But I think Slot and Klopp are very polar opposites in terms of, while Klopp was a very emotional, he'd get caught up in the heat of the moment. He wasn't afraid to speak out. I think Slot, it seems a bit more reserved. He seems a bit more, not articulate, because that makes it sound like Klopp wasn't, but he sounds a bit more calculated with what he's going to say. Clearly, him and Richard Hughes, like you said, they've been speaking regularly, because as much as you can't rehearse the answers because you don't know what the questions are going to be, it felt like they were reading off a script. Like, it flowed very well. There was no hesitation in what they were saying. He sounded very confident, and I mean, that's what we need. Like, Hassan, what did you make? I mean, like I said, there's plenty to go through, but there was one question in particular where it was Chris from Redmen asked them, your formation, how do you play, 4-3-1, 4-3-3, and he was didn't want to put a label on it as such. I mean, all we've been saying for months is he plays this, he plays that. Is it a case of we may not know the real Arne Slot based on what he was describing, the way he wants to play and formations that he uses? Like, could we expect way more from him than we possibly think?
Yeah, exactly. As Liverpool fans, we don't get to watch more that Dutch league as much. As soon as he was linked to us, then we started watching Feyenoord games, their players, their formation. Before that, we didn't know anything about that. And I think, as he described, it's really fluid. Formation changes with the situation. When we attack, the formation may change. When we are defending, formation may change. The kind of players the other team have, the tactics they are using, the formation will be according to that. So I think it's refreshing because for last almost a decade we were used to same thing. If try again, if things were not going well, we might change it after a long games. But we used to persist with our formations. So I think it will be refreshing to see new players in different positions doing different things. It's a refreshing start. I hopefully, but the other thing is with Klopp, I used to be really confident with transfer windows. If we missed out on some target, I knew whoever comes in, Klopp can make him better. Uh, Klopp, with new manager, it's we will see how he gets to the new players, how he manage not getting his preferred target. Uh, because it's a difficult situation with so many tournaments going on, hopefully we get who he can work with.
Well, Richard Hughes said that himself. He said it's a really difficult time for transfers because you've got the Euros on, the Copa America, the Olympics. Like, he said himself, like, it is chaotic at the moment in terms of getting players in because there's so much going on. Everyone's like glued to the
I'm
German
so
thing.
sorry. I'm so
No,
sorry.
no, it's fine. No, honestly, I've got it on in my thing. I saw Hugo like jump.
Oh, that's a handball. That's a clear handball.
But they have
No,
not given the penalty.
No.
like,
Sorry,
if you're
off track.
if you're watching now, you've joined us to the watch along. Thank you very much. Your pause. We said then penalties Germany. It's all up to Germany now. I mean, I've lost my train of thought now. Yeah, so Richard Hughes said that anyway. But with regards to it, then, with regards to the whole, fluency in formation, like you touched on really well, Hassan, the fact that Klopp was just, we play this way, outrun them, outplay them, like just go, go, go. With regards to the fact that Slot is very versatile in terms of he's very fluid, he plays a multitude of different formations based on the system. Could that affect the transfer policy, Jonathan, in terms of, because it was hinted at towards the end, and we will get to it, Liverpool may not have a very busy summer. Is it a case of, because so many players are going to be able to play in a multitude of different positions and it is a very fluent side, that we have enough players to potentially cover what we need, if that makes sense? Like, to put a final point on it, everyone's crying out for a number 6 because we're so used to the 4-3-3 with Klopp. But if Arne Slot's playing like a 4-1-4-1 or a 4-2-3-1, as he describes it, or anything, is the necessity to still bring someone in?
I think it depends after we see how the team performs. But we have the players right now. We also hinted to maybe use Trent in midfield role. He didn't say it out, but he had a thought on where he and Gakpo would play. And if he decides to keep Morton, we have a fantastic player there. But we all have to wait to see until August. But I think maybe 2 or 3 players will come in. We missed out on Wyford.
Yeah.
Since they tried to make a last ditch effort to hijack, it was someone they wanted to bring into Arne system. So we just have to see the team perform in preseason and take it from there, I reckon.
Yeah, and like, we'll link with everyone at the minute under the sun. Here says, those transfer comments, take it with a pinch of salt. And to be fair, people did overreact to it, saying we're not signing anyone. Typical FSG, we're not bringing in any players. But Richard Hughes did say, look, it's going to be slow in July because everyone's at tournaments. The manager then has August to work with them, and that's when we'll make the evaluation of what we need and who we need, because he's not managed. He's managed 8 players today. I think there was like Nat Phillips, Carvalho, Harvey Elliott. There was a couple others. I can't remember off the top of my head exactly. But
Kwanzaa,
Kwanzaa was one.
Jones,
so like, he can't exactly. So he can't. None of them, bar maybe Kwanzaa and Elliott and Jones, maybe are sort of like first team or round first. Like, he needs to see what he's got before he can start making these judgment calls. And Hassan, like, coming off the press conference a little bit, like we said there about the players who've trained with them, is there any of those young lads, because a lot of them are quite young, is there any of them that are going to benefit from having this early work with Slot before other players come back? Like Elliott, for example, I know a lot of people are raving that it could be the new number 10 in the system. Is it going to benefit these players so much that they're getting this extra time to really make their imprint on Slot?
Yeah, I think that especially the guys coming back from the loan, Vanderberg and Morton, who had good seasons on loan, so they can show him that they are now ready for Liverpool. I think Konsa will benefit, and Elliott, Jones, these players who are already in the team. Maybe Shimikas can uh, show him that he can be a number 2 and can cover whenever Robertson is out. So I think it's really good for these sort of players who are on the uh, I think on not the first team, but they are want to break in so they can show him that they are ready.
Yeah. Yeah, and like Jones, for example, he's one who Klopp really did warm to. I think towards the end, he found a way to get him to play. He seemed to really bring the best out of him at points. Like with this fluency in midfield that Slot's described, like Jones could be huge in that. The ability to play as the number 6, the number 8, the number 10. So with that in mind, Jonathan, I mean, are there any of those lads who went back today who you think are going to make a big impact in Slot's team going forward? Like when I say a big impact, I mean like a standout big impact, not just come off the bench like Simicast or someone, for example, but any that can really stand out next season.
I think, as you said, Jones started to find his best form maybe last season, end of the season before. Elliot, I think, might maybe start playing more often. He's good with the ball. He can ping a pass. He isn't afraid to challenge anyone. I think technically he's very good. He can run towards the defenders. And again, it's maybe 5-6 players who was there. Kwanzaa might challenge Konate really much for the season that's coming. But I'm excited by the guys that coming back from loan. Fabio, Sepp. I think those players can make an effort to actually get in the match day squads.
Yeah, and there's a comment saying like Sepp Vandenberg may finally be tested with respect. Now, this is one, we'll touch on some of these players before we carry on with the press conference, because I think there's really big points. So there's two here. We'll touch on the other one first and then this one. So Salah and Endo weren't back today, still on holiday maybe. I think, and is Endo not away doing something internationally, or am I making that up? Oh, no, he's not. I'm thinking of...
Yeah, he's
I was
not
thinking of the
in Japan squad for Olympics.
Yeah, so he's, he'll be on holiday. And I think same with Salah, to be fair, from what we've seen. We had a massive season last season, so I think maybe there's just rest. And this one, Sepp Vandenberg, may finally be treated with respect. Now, Vandenberg, for me, I think it says a lot about Slot, because my big thing was I think the way he handles Vandenberg going forward is going to say a lot about what he is as a manager. Now, the Klopp comments rubbed everyone the wrong way, and rightfully so. Like, he said what he said. The second the manager leaves, he's like, yeah, I can say what I want now. And Vandenberg is a talented player. We all know that. Young centre-back who's proven it in the Bundesliga. He looks very, very good. And Jonathan, I'll go to you, and then Hassan. What do you make of is Sepp Vandenberg, does he have a place in this squad? We'll go to you, Jonathan, and then you, Hassan. Like, can he be in this squad?
If we don't bring in a centre-back, yes, I really think he can be in the squad as a rotation player, or maybe starting for the less or the easier games.
I mean, even with the comments, I mean, is there no concern of a personality clash there or anything, or sort of not an ego per se, but it could, like, we could see something further down the road?
Hard to say. He might have been frustrated, feel that he has a place in the squad, and that could have been taken as an ego. But we brought him in to 2019.
It was the season we won the Premier League, so 2019 it would have been,
And he haven't been given a really chance. I think so. Frustration that might have been taken as an ego. I think he could get in the squad, But if we see that personality clash, I think even Edwards and Hughes will send him out. Just sell him and get the money.
He's someone you could get a lot of money for as well. Like he's very talented.
Even if it are a rotation option this season, the price tag will go up if he gets minutes.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, Hassan, the same sort of thing to you. Like Vandenberg, is this someone who we should be looking to include in this squad, or is it someone who, given what we've seen, maybe we should be looking to cash in on, especially if we have to sell to buy? Like, is he disposable?
Yes, Jonathan said that if we bring in someone we have, like we were linked with Calafori, something who like him available to replace Matip. So I think then he will. Otherwise, he will be given chance. He was not the only one who made comments. Fabio made some interesting comments as well. So I think he will be looked at, and if we cannot get any target, so maybe. And big shout out to Ned Phillips, the legendary Ned Phillips is back as well. So he's still here. So uh, because with Edwards and our team, if someone does not pay the amount we have in mind, we don't sell players. And as Slot has mentioned as well, he was really happy that at Feyenoord he had to sell 8-9 players per season. Here it will be a more stable thing. So I think he will benefit with several first team players, reserves, and under 21. So I think he will look at every player, their potential, and then make decision.
Yeah, absolutely. Like you said, he's only worked with them for like a day or two. We can't. It's going to be too soon, and I think he's a very good player, or he could be a very good player. I haven't seen enough of him. I didn't watch him in the Bundesliga. I've heard what I've heard. He obviously had that massive injury, but when he has played, he's been fantastic. Here, the same minds are certainly 100% ready to buy Vandenberg. I think a lot of clubs will be, especially in the Bundesliga, to be honest. But we'll see. We'll see what goes on. We'll go back to the press conference anyway, just from that little tangent. But Paul has said Gissingsley was divorced Klopp and is now in love with Slot. I mean, you've got to back him. Let's be honest. Like, Klopp's gone. We've been widowed essentially, so we're having to move on now to Arne
Spain
Slot.
scored.
Hassan.
Spain scored.
We go live to Hassan at Sky Studios. Can you explain the goal for us, Hassan?
Yeah, Marino scored a header. It's
you're a minute
100
ahead
and
of me.
yeah, it's 119 minutes. Spain are through.
119th minute.
Yeah.
Now Spain scored for me. Hassan is 30 seconds ahead of me.
You just spoiled the goal for us. Oh God! I mean, of the two, I don't know. I feel like that's a lose-lose situation. To be honest, I'd have rather Germany go through. I think because I'm like so numb now because of Spain in terms of that 2008 to 2012 stretch. I'd rather Germany go through. I think they're an easier team. Hassan is in the future, apparently. But yeah, so I mean, we'll go back to the press conference then, because there was we touched on a bit of it. We touched on a bit of the transfer news. We touched on Slots, his mannerisms and stuff, and he seemed very, I suppose, calm. I know we touched on he seemed like everything was rehearsed. He seemed like he knew what he was doing, but he was so relaxed for someone. The only time he seemed to say something like was when it was like a language barrier thing. I can't get over how composed he was given the questions that were thrown at him. Like, at the same breath though, Hassan, like, does it seem like every interview we've seen of him since he's left, and every like the interview he had before us, the press conference, it seemed to be Feyenoord is a great club. I love Feyenoord. I miss do you reckon he actually does miss Feyenoord to an extent? Because he does seem to. I know I'd be digging into it a bit much, but he does seem to mention them an awful lot. I understand it's a former club, but yeah.
Yeah, I think, as he said himself, that he wouldn't have left Feyenoord for many clubs, but when Liverpool
Yeah.
came, he had to make a choice. I think it was a special club for him. Everything was going with him. Fans loved him. So he was because last summer Spurs tried to sign him, and he said no, I'll stay. So I think he was at a right place for himself, and with the opportunity like this when comes in, he couldn't say no. So I think he missed.
Oh. Oh.
That was so hard.
This is a mess.
Was it Morata?
Oh god, that was hard.
Ferran Torres.
How was it, Ferran Torres? God almighty. And actually, someone just reminded me, I didn't even think it's the last match for Tony Cruz. I mean, that's
lovely seeing him heading out of the Euros like that. Oh,
yeah,
I love it.
Yeah. I feel like if he'd have won the Euros, he could have been on for a Ballon d'Or. Like genuine Champions League, La Liga. Did they win the Copa del? Did they win the Copa del Rey, or was that someone else? They did.
Treble.
So he's won a treble, and he could have won the Euros on top of it. Like, you know, he could have genuinely been on for a Ballon d'Or had he won that.
Oh!
I feel so sorry for Lou that's hosting this stream.
Oh, full crook. Damn it.
Is it 2-0?
No, he just missed.
Oh no.
Oh.
Arne Slot. Arne Slot's press conference.
Really bad timing.
Guys.
Oh right. It's all fell apart. Please make sure to like and subscribe. just make sure.
I knew.
When in doubt, like and subscribe.
Yeah, that's the go-to. Right.
Okay, now the match is over. We can concentrate.
Yeah. It's fine. That was the best 5 minutes I've ever done on this channel, genuinely. Oh god. Germany out. Host nation out. Apparently, I've not been watching it. I had it on for like 2 minutes, and I can't. Being a male, I can't do two things at once. I can only watch that or do this, so it went off.
We can't do that either. You see that.
That's what I mean. I can't. As reward, Spain will get France or Portugal. Now, my girlfriend's got Portugal in a sweep for the Euros, so you know I'm sort of Portugal based. If anyone else has to win it, we need a bit of money coming in. But yeah, anyway, we'll get back to business. No one really cares about my story. But yeah, Arne Slot, the new manager of Liverpool. I'm so thrown off by this whole thing. But yeah, anyway, he did good. And he got a question put to him by someone asking, what do we make of the
red card?
I mean, it does. I won't lie. I can change it. I can change it. But anyway.
Red card on the Carvajal.
Red card on
God.
Carvajal.
So they've literally just won, and now he's getting a red card.
Yeah.
The match is still going on.
Oh, it's still going. I thought it was. Yeah. I thought it was over. Am I being wound up? Can someone please tell me? I feel like Hassan could say anything. Like, I wouldn't know
it's a red card. It's a red card. Girl.
There's a red card. What's he done?
Yeah.
Was he?
Pulled Musiala down. Second yellow.
What? Oh, right. Okay.
Second yellow.
That's right. Okay. I'm gonna have to change my light because that someone's sort of thrown it up to me. But anyway, yeah. So, Hassan, please not live spoilers when streaming. Are you genuinely in the future? Is this something that's like
Yeah, he's 30 seconds ahead of us.
genuinely?
Yes.
Every single person
Spain,
is
Spain
like,
has won. Tell them, everyone. Jay, Spain has won.
let's give that a go. There you go. Louis, that background reminds me of the red light district. It doesn't anymore. I've changed that because that's made me feel a bit. But anyway, right. Yeah, so Arne Slot, he said, someone asked him the question, what about age? What about the young players? What do you think of it? Like, are they. Does it matter? And he just said, no, age doesn't matter. If they can play, they can play, great. Hassan, goes to you with this, and then you, Jonathan. Like, what. We've gone over the young players in the past, but is there any particular ones that you're looking at and thinking, you have a real chance to get into this squad? Like the obvious ones like Elliot, but is there anyone who maybe just doesn't get enough discussion who should be in the mix, do you think?
I think it will be season for Besichit, Stefan, because he was injured. That is the position he plays in. Will be important for us with Endo. I think this is a season for Stefan. I really like Bobby Clark when he was playing. He was pressing. He had a good touch and he can finish as well. Uh, I think hopefully Doak can show more now. Hopefully he can stay away from injuries as well. So Dan's as well. Hopefully he can get chances at Carabao Cup and FA Cup rounds. So I think there are so many young players who can benefit. Uh, I don't know why Dan's was not here
Yeah,
today.
I was thinking that then.
Yeah, Bobby Clark, Dan's, these players who were really essential at the end for us. Maybe they are all also on holidays or maybe considered for Olympics. I don't know.
I mean, it's a bit like it's concerning slightly actually now that they haven't come back, because in my mind we've got to consider the possibility that while Klopp like these players in the main squad like Dan's and Beck and etc Bobby Clark, my mind went really blank there.
Kumas.
Scanlon, Chambers, stuff like this. Kumas, yeah. Just because he had them in the first squad doesn't necessarily mean Slot will. I mean, there's every possibility he wants them in the under-21s again and, develop the first team as he's got rather than looking at the youth products. Is that a fair assumption to make, Jonathan? I mean, not that I think they're bad, but we do have to consider the possibility that we did get to a point last season where there were so many players, it was hard to give them all game time. Like, is there any of those young lads who he may be considering to send back to developmental, so to speak?
I think Dans and Kumas are players that will maybe get sent down in the divisions on loan, or maybe just play for the under 21s. But I like what we saw from Kumas last season: agile, speed, power, and Dans also good in the air. It seemed like he could use his legs, even though he's almost 7 foot. But I think he will try to build a solid structure in the club with already first team players and likes of Bajcetic, Elliot, Fabio, and the players coming back from loan like Morton and those players. But in the cup, like we had a discussion on it a few weeks back, take the players up, see what they can do. It's a lot of games that will be played next season. Kumas and Dans and Bobby Clark, those players should have their chance in the cups to show what they can do because they're good enough.
Yeah, definitely. And he said himself he likes developing players, and that's encouraging. Like you said, Badge Titch, I think he'll have a great. I think he'll really get thrown into it this season. There's a lot of players to consider. There's a lot of different options. There's a lot of questions stuff coming through about the Euros. So he says, "Hate the host out. Could have gone either way." I want the hosts to stay in these competitions as long as possible because I think it keeps the atmosphere up. Like obviously our fans will go over and the fans of the countries will go over, etc., etc. But I think when the host nation's in it, there are people who are in that ground who are sort of neutral. So if you have Germany still in there, the atmosphere just seems to keep, it's like Brazil in the World Cup. Obviously, they went out in the semi-finals in 2014, they got thrashed, but it felt like the atmosphere was really, really building until that point, and then it just sort of, I don't know. I think when the host nation's still in it, there's a party atmosphere around the country rather than now. Anyone who's in Germany is not going to really care too much, so what have you. And there's also a tough question. It's tough to play young players like Dans and Kumas for meaningful minutes when we are competing at the top of the Premier League. We should sacrifice the Carabao Cup for the young players. Now, yeah, I think that's true, Hassan. What's your thoughts on that, really quick? Like, Paul says there we are competing at the top of the Premier League, but there's no guarantee necessarily that we're still going to be fighting at the very top level. What do we make of that comment? It's hard to get the meaningful minutes. Just give them the Carabao Cup. What do you think of it?
Yeah, I think they are at their development stage. We should not overplay them. As we saw today, Pedri at Spain, he was really overworked from Barcelona and Spain. He was really young, and now he's constantly getting injured. So we should be really careful with young players, how we develop them, their game playing minutes are managed. So these players should be given first team opportunities, but with teams at
Sorry.
Carabao Cup and FA Cup a few rounds. If they are showing themselves, they are ready. So maybe more give chance, but we should not overplay them and risk them.
Yeah, and I think that's absolutely fair. And Healer says again, there's going to be more matches than ever this season because Champions League, there's more matches and cup competitions, and it does feel like there's too many games. So yeah, I completely agree with that. Who do you want to win the tournament, Lou? I know Hassan hates Southgate. Southgate's a clown, as far as I'm concerned. He's looked. I'm going to go with my Southgate right now. I think he's an absolute like top womble. To be honest, he's beyond useless. He's looked his way into a job because he made people feel happy, and But the issue is he's overperformed, and now he's stuck with this incredible group of players that he can't manage. And yeah, I think Southgate's just an absolute. He's the Wally without the brolly. But who do I want? I want England to win, obviously. But who do I think's going to win? I think, to be honest, I think after this win now, Spain are probably my bet. Like, I had a little inkling about them going into it, but now after watching them play, I think Spain will be. Jonathan, I mean, who do you want to win, so to speak? But who do you think is going to win?
I said England at the start of the tournament. I'm a Norwegian, so Norway aren't good enough. But I said England, but how bad they have been playing and how boring they have been playing, I'm rooting for Spain.
Yeah,
I'm hoping Spain will win it.
Yeah.
Oh, you hope Spain win it?
Yeah, and I think they can go on to win it.
Yeah, I mean, Hassan, what do you make of that?
Yeah, I agree with Jonathan. I think this quarterfinal was predicted that whoever wins it will win the tournament. Uh, for me, I am supporting Turkey, but it will be really difficult for them. Their star defender is also banned for 2 matches. For me, I think Spain are the favorites.
Yeah, it's to be honest, no team has particularly played well. If that Spain are the only team that I've looked at in every game and thought you've done really well, barring maybe like no, they beat Croatia, didn't they? They beat Croatia. They thrashed Georgia the other day. But everything like France haven't looked particularly good. Portugal have looked really poor. Germany up until this point, nothing special. The Scotland game was a bit of a red herring. There's a lot of questions come through about the Euros. I mean, I'm happy to go on for a little bit about it. Like the, this is a good question actually, and this goes to you, Jonathan. What is it all about? Like Norway has Haaland and Ødegaard. Why aren't they qualified? I mean, you're going to be more. It's because they don't have John Arne Riise. All right, that's why. The king is not in the squad anymore.
It's really easy. Ødegaard and Haaland, they can't play. They can't play together. It's easy as that. They're star players in Norway, but in England they have world class players around them. That's what makes them good. They have players like Leo Shiri, Østegård. That's a bench player in Napoli. They have midfielders like Sander Berg. He's in the Norwegian national team, and he runs around there like a headless chicken. Ørjan Nyland, second goalie in Sevilla. These aren't starters, and at the worst, and in the worst period of Norwegian football, we have
La Liga top scorer is also Norwegian.
We had players in the national team that were clubless. They didn't have clubs, but they were the best players.
So it's a bit like Egypt in the sense of like you've got Mo Salah, you had Mohamed El Neni, Hegazi at one point. When Amazaki was in the squad back when he was at Wigan, there's like one or two players who are really good or good, and then everyone else around them's just useless.
Yeah, we also have Alexander Sørloth, who plays for
Villarreal.
And Jørgen Strand Larsen, who was just signed for Wolverhampton. But they aren't getting a chance because Haaland is Haaland. He has the name Haaland.
Was Soloff the one who was at Crystal Palace as well at one point?
Yeah.
I mean,
we have quality backup strikers, but they don't get to play because of Haaland.
Yeah, which I mean, it makes sense to be fair. Like he is top quality, but like, is there a sort of as good as Haaland is, and at an international level, this might be true, it might not be. I might be talking wham, but is there a sort of similar thing to the way Portugal are with Ronaldo, where the whole play style has to change to sort of suit him? Is that because Haaland, for all he's fantastic, he is a machine. He's a very one-dimensional striker in a sense of he's very good at a few specific things, but like the whole system has to cater to him, like we've saw with City. Is that a similar sort of thing?
Yeah, like he don't track back like from him, for example. But we also have Oscar Bob, Nusa playing on each of the side, and Ødegaard, who's supposed to run a midfield alone with Sander Berg. So and no one is particularly happy with the coach either, because he is setting the play style around Ødegaard and Haaland, and why they don't perform, he doesn't change anything.
I mean, it's I always find it interesting going on about other countries, like, and getting their perspectives on it, because everyone goes on about England to the point where it's just boring now. Like, we know what we are, and what we are is crap. Like Hassan, you said before, is it Turkey that you're supporting here?
Yeah, it's just I supported them at 2002 World Cup when they went to the semi-finals. From that team, whenever they qualify, uh, I support them, but a bit brings back nostalgia, maybe. But they play exciting matches, thrilling matches. Last game was insane. So they bring something different to these big teams who were already predicted to be here. So it will be different. There are these two teams left with Switzerland and Turkey, who were uh, outsiders. So and they have played well to get here. So hopefully they can play well in the next matches as well.
Well, I've actually got Turkey in our sweep. Like I said, my girlfriend's got Portugal, and I got Turkey in mine. And so I've been watching them. I've been like going out my way to like I'll watch every Euros game. I will watch any football it's on. If I'm working, I'll miss it, or if I'm doing this, I'll miss it. But I've watched every Turkey game, and they're so like never say die. Like they just keep going and going. And like, is there any players in particular in that squad are you looking at, and they really stand out for you?
Yeah, Arda Güler, he's fantastic with his age. He's really mature. He can hold the ball. He can pass. He has a wonderful strike. I really liked their forward Yilmaz. He runs his
Mhm.
socks off. He's really well. Khan Ayhan, who's their defensive midfielder, he can play center back as well. Their fullbacks are really good. They run up and down the pitch like anything. They have the keeper, the one who made mistake against I think Portugal, was changed. Now the new keeper played really well. So they have players. I like their coach Montella as well, from the retro Roma time, with big hairs and uh, tight kappa shirt. So they so I there are who do you like in Turkey team?
I mean, I'd need to have a look at the proper because this is the thing. When I've been watching it, it's been very the squad, like the style of play, has impressed me more than anything. Obviously, this Çalhanoğlu is just we all know him, but he hasn't exactly been. He hasn't set the world on fire. Ozan Kabak, when he's played, he's been all right, but not in particularly like amazing. It no particular names really stand out. I just think the actual overall style of play has been really, really exciting to watch. And to be honest, the Netherlands, I think they're going to give the Netherlands a really good go in this next round. I'm losing my mind here. Like I've just got to start googling. Then I went down a bit of a well on gaming loads of things. Then, just so there's a couple of things that will come through because we have only got a couple of minutes left. Darwin Goethe says, "Is Gordon coming?" We were going to touch on it, but obviously this whole Euros palaver started, and there was a lot to talk about with Slot. So if you check out the one from yesterday that Damon did, they go
Darwin
really in
Gotenes.
depth on it. You what? Sorry.
Darwin Gotenes.
No,
What made
just
Louis is tired now.
but yeah, go check out the stream from yesterday. It was they weren't very in depth on it. I'm not a big Gordon fan. I don't see the necessity personally. I don't think he's bad by any means, but I think Newcastle is his limit. I think that
Level.
is the peak of where he's going. And no disrespect to him, but the touted price today is around. It said that we can go back in for 100 million. If we're not going to buy him for 60 million, we're not buying him for 100 million. And no, I just don't think that's going to work. Quick prediction for this game. It's the France game, I believe.
Yeah.
Let me just double check. My mind is all I've been in work today, and I'm losing my absolute rocker. France, Portugal. Probably France, but I don't think this is going to be an exciting game. I think this is going to be quite a I think it's like a 1-0, or it's going to be something really low. I think they're going to cancel each other out. Jonathan, get your quick score predictions for this match before we shoot off.
2-1 France.
2-1 France. Okay. And Hassan?
1-0 France, and the tournament best goal scorer own goal will be.
That's true, actually. Do you know what?
Ronaldo on goal.
Oh, please.
Pepe.
I will pay anything. I will give anything to see that, because honestly,
Fernandez on goal. Jota is not playing, so hopefully they go out.
See, but what does he have? Ronaldo's pants now. I don't get, what does he have to do to get in that team? Like, Ronaldo is so poor. I don't know. But yeah, we are going to shoot in a second, guys, because, like I said, we've got another match about to start. There's a lot going on. My prediction is that Ronaldo will cry his eyes out in this match as well. I bloody hope so. No offense to him in that. I think he's phenomenal, but he can get going. And Joe says, you'll never walk alone. So yes, we are going to shoot off. Big thank you to Jonathan and Hassan for coming on. Hassan in particular, our man in the studio, giving us the updates on the Spain-Germany match. You can go back to, I know you've just come back from the future, so you can go back now. Thank you very much for spoiling everything. If you are new around here, please make sure to click like and subscribe. We're on 10,400 at the moment. Just keep it going, keep it up. And if you are watching over on Twitter, next time we're on, head over to YouTube so you can get involved with the comments and you can get them read out as we're going, like you did today. Thank you very much for watching. As I say, Hassan the spoiler, and we will see you all in the next stream. 1-0 France.